I'm Davey,
I'm Kat, aka Dr. Kat.
and this is the Weekend Hangover. Welcome to this edition of Weekend Hangover. As you can see, my co-host Momma J is not here today. She's off celebrating her luckily marriage for whatever, however long she's been married for. No, I'm just kidding. Happy anniversary, Mama. We love you. We miss you. I hope you guys have a fantastical day. I hope you guys are doing some magical stuff, working on baby number 3. Anyway,
Heyo.
my co-host today is the wonderful Cat, aka Dr. Cat from, and I knew that was gonna happen. Uh from I'm sorry. It always I don't know why this happens on the Rumble
Listen, look,
section.
hands were here the entire time.
Yeah, stop messing with my Rumble, madam.
Listen, I don't even know what that is. Oh, looky here. I am by myself. He left me unsupervised. This is crazy. Oh my goodness. Look, no hands. Oh my goodness. For a brief intermission.
What did I tell you? I told you something always messes up.
At least we got the intro. Okay, that's fine.
The intro was good. Oh man, I gotta fix the Rumble stream.
I was like, look, he left me unsupervised. Brief intermission.
Listen, you do what you do, madam. You have fun. It doesn't matter to me. I listen, I don't care what goes on here.
This is weekend
Uh,
hangover.
yeah, it's the Weekend Hangover where we just do what we gotta do to have fun. What are we doing
Absolutely.
here? Edit. Okay. I'm going to
Listen, we are
copy.
not professional IT people,
I'm
okay?
not I'm not a
You're naughty?
what? Yeah. Speaking of naughty, we were talking about this before. Like you and me are you were saying that you're okay. No, I don't want the upgrade. I just want this off.
This is what happens when you get 2 people with squirrel brains on a podcast.
Remove. How about we just remove
It's
that and then we add this.
like, those hamster wheels and everything? That's exactly what it's like having ADHD.
Well, like I was saying, you were saying before we were on that you are not a person that realizes when people flirt with you, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
I'm the
gosh, yeah.
same exact way.
Well, it's like, sometimes if it's, like, blatantly obvious, like, I get it. Like, I'm like, "Okay, I see that." But then, like, there's sometimes, like, guys will do certain things, and I think maybe it's just, like, I don't know if I'm, like, overprotective of myself or if it's just, like, I'm just having a great time and I'm, like, not really paying attention. I'm just like, "Oh, he's just being really friendly," and then my friends are like, "No, he likes you," and I'm like, "Oh." That's nice. So I honestly I feel like truthfully, I'm sure that I've met my soulmate and my soulmate was like, "Wow, she didn't even like look at me twice." And I'm just like, "No, I just had no idea what you were doing."
But then that's not your soulmate. Then
Probably not.
if that person didn't catch your eye and whatnot, then obviously they're not your soulmate. But if they are your soulmate, they will come back at some point.
It's true. They're probably in the middle of like the Atlantic Ocean with like floaties on right now. That's probably what it is.
Like Osama bin Laden. What?
Well, I mean,
By the
I don't
way,
know about
I wore this for
you know what's
Cat.
funny? I was lifeguard and then became head lifeguard for like 7 years. I never once wore that shirt.
I've listen. I don't know. Listen, growing up in Jersey, right? Like
Yeah.
you'd see all these muscle dudes wearing this lifeguard
Oh my
shirt, and
gosh,
I.
yes.
You ever been to the Jersey? No, I know you've been to New York. I stalked your Instagram, but have you ever been to Jersey?
Um, I think I flew into Jersey, and I think that was, like, the most of, like, what I've seen there. I haven't actually been to Jersey. I want to go because there are people there that I, like, wanna see and, like, hang out with, but, like, no, I haven't been.
That's the most of the Midwest that I've spoken to. I've heard people just go, "Yeah, no, I've been to Newark Airport, but
Yeah,
I've never actually like." And I'm like, "Oh, it's
it's more than that.
you're lucky. you're lucky because if you step out and are in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and you look around, you're like, "What is this? Why? What am I doing here?" But then you go a little north, a little south, and you go to the south, which is the shore. We call it the shore. The Jersey
Yeah,
Shore is
it's a
an
shore.
actual thing,
Yeah.
and people don't call it the shore out here. They call it the beach or whatever. But I'm just like I said, we call it the shore. You go to the shore, and that's what
Listen,
you do.
we all know what it's really about. It's like, gym tan laundry, all that stuff, throwing back the nostalgia.
Emotional damage.
Oh, that's not the truth. Ron, stop.
Let me tell you. Have you watched almost every season of that? What up, Dustin?
So I watched. Hi, Dustin. I watched every single season of that growing up. It was so raunchy, like so the Smash Room. Like, I don't
It's
want to know what ungodly things were like growing on that bed. Like, I think STDs were like the least of their concern at that point.
it's not a it's a real thing. It's a real thing in college
You
cuz I
can actually rent it out as an Airbnb.
yeah, I know. And they make a shit ton of money, which
I
is
mean, rightfully so.
but it's crazy. It's crazy because like I went there like I didn't I I'm from New York, right? So
Right.
I didn't know my parents are from the Bronx. So for us, we didn't know really about the shore. Us as people from the Bronx, we went to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Don't ask me
Yeah.
why, but we went to Pennsylvania.
You know,
My
it's
parents
funny. Everyone that like I've heard of from there, that's all they ever said. They're like, that's where we went on vacation, Pennsylvania.
and
And
I
I'm like,
don't
why? And
time
they're like, I have no like reason or like explanation for it. There's like, we just went. It was like, you had to.
I'll tell you why. Is because they introduced these things to Puerto Ricans called timeshares, and Puerto Ricans like, mira, for
Mira.
$500 a year, I can go anywhere I want. $500, and all I gotta do is go over there. Sound good? Listen, we're going to Pennsylvania.
Hey, listen, if
Where?
someone told me it was only $500 a year and I can go wherever, I would slap that down in a heartbeat.
Listen, timeshares are they're MLMs or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
They're a Ponzi scheme because you
Oh,
go and then there's
absolutely.
all these things. But my parents joined this thing called Outdoor World. Before Outdoor World was this big, huge corporation that it
Right.
is now. Kid born in the 80s, okay? And so we went to this place called Timothy Lake, not knowing Timothy was Jason Voorhees. It was named after a kid that drowned in the lake, and so they called it Timothy Lake. So yeah,
Listen, I I don't think I'd like that as a parent. Like I really wouldn't. Like, hey, wow, like thanks for naming, a body of water that like killed my son. Thanks. I feel like
once
I'd be really upset about it.
it's Pennsylvania, they really don't give a fuck. It was back in the 80s, and everybody was like, "No, yeah, my son's got a lake named after him." His name
So if you die in Pennsylvania, you'll just get the thing that killed you named after you. So like if you die of fentanyl overdose, it's now like a Mr. John. Like
is Mikey's fentanyl. They have a baggie. It's called Mikey's. You want
it's a
some Mikey's?
it's a McDouble.
Holy
Oh my
shit!
gosh. Oh, that'd be so bad.
But listen, I don't understand where they get all these names for these things. Have you ever done ecstasy?
No,
No,
I've never done like
I
hardcore drugs ever.
no hard don't.
Mm-mm.
What up, Dutch?
Listen,
No,
I'm a healthcare work. I'm a doctor. I
this
can't
is
do all
true.
that.
I know
What's
I
up, Dutch?
know. Like I you have the most
Okay,
fucking PG fucking Instagram I've ever seen. It goes
listen.
from like, hey, do you want to see me? Do you want to see the ugly duckling? Before I turned into this fucking beautiful goose that I turned into.
I would say geese because there's like 5 personalities I have, but that's besides the point.
You have 5 personalities.
Maybe 8 on a good day. I don't
Do you name them?
know, but I should.
You
I feel
should.
like
I named Amanda's. I named one of Amanda's personalities, and she doesn't like it because I can see like she's like a shark. I can see the eyes change,
oh gosh.
and I go, "You tell that bitch Ashley to calm the fuck down." And
It's
she
always
just,
an Ashley.
it is. If it's a bitch,
Like
it's usually Ashley.
it's Ashley.
If it's a
Yeah.
it's a girl who's like, it's coming, and it's just like you tell that bitch Ashley back the fuck off, and she
Listen.
just
And she just like it's just like, "Oh, really? Oh, really?" And, like, just gets closer and closer until you can, like, smell her breath and everything. Oh, there's Amanda.
you kiss my ass
Because I
first.
asked her.
Later I will. Yeah, no, it's I I run. See, this is where I'm different, and I've told this is I'm a different breed of a person. Like you tell me you have uh multiple personalities, and I'm gonna fucking hit them head on,
Oh,
all of them.
absolutely. Listen, like, I look in the mirror and they're just sitting, like, right behind me. And they're just like, "Alright, which ones are we pulling out of the closet today?" You know? Like, cause listen, sometimes people, like and here's the thing, I always say this in the morning, I'm not a morning person, okay? I want my coffee, I want my 2 hours of peace. Do I get that? No. Why? Because 'Cause I'm a healthcare worker. Anyways, all of a sudden, I'm coming up here and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, good morning," and I'm just like, "Mm, good morning."
Shenanigans, yeah, shenanigans. Don't put your
Always
fucking
shenanigans.
shenanigans on me, madam.
Listen, it's like I'm like, "Do I look approachable at 7:30 in the morning?" No. I really don't think I do. I had someone actually tell me, they were just like, "Well, you don't ever say good morning, like, you give me attitude about it." I do it with everybody, you're not special, I promise.
Don't you love that though? Like people think that they're special. Like
Like,
you're not special.
no. And I always tell people this, especially certain things, I'm like, "I am not here for your comfort, I am here to help you." The people who get the most comfort side of me, like personal comfort side, are the ones that are close to me. I have my healthcare comfort side and I have my personal comfort side. The personal comfort side is one that not everybody gets to see. And I'm like, I don't want people to see that.
Absolutely
Absolutely, but
become
coming,
a Marine. Yeah, Dutch
yeah.
Dutch is a Marine.
Oh, what color crayon, my guy?
Purple. He's a
Mm.
fucking Barney eater to the day he dies.
Listen, I don't think that's entirely a bad thing because Barney was a little
Handsy?
hand, a little handsy. You literally just took that right out of my head. I was like, he's a little handsy.
I love you. You
I was just about to sing that. Listen, and here's the thing. You know of me, I do know of you, Dutch. You know, it's crazy. Like, okay, so back on the Instagram thing. Yeah, listen. So I was not the kid who went to band camp. I was the kid who went to church camp, and I cried if I got in trouble because, like, I think I would need to be bathed in holy water at that point.
Which
And
you did get baptized. Congratulations. That's an amazing thing. I recently got baptized, and that's
yeah, I got baptized at 17.
listen, I got baptized at 30 at 40. I got
Yeah,
baptized. I don't know if I did it. I don't know if my parents did it when I was a kid. I think they did. There's no pictures. But,
yeah.
like, yeah, I just recently did it, and
Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
thank you. It was an experience, and I
Yeah,
and I I feel like Sagmont, Missouri,
very.
1987. Oh, is
Oh,
that when
let's
you
go. Okay, okay. Yeah, I wasn't even thought of in 1987.
No, you're a
You're a fucking youngin', madam.
Okay. Itty bitty.
so, like, alright, so you are this church kid
Oh
that
man, yeah.
just by the way, your dad's a fox, just to let you know. You're this church
Don't
kid.
don't ever let him hear you say that.
I have a
It will
feeling.
take it will take him back to his youthful days, and you're like, "Oh, well." And I'm just like, "Get out of here."
Is he a doctor too?
No, he's
Uh,
a custom home builder.
oh, is he really?
Mhm.
He looks like a doctor. He really does.
No, he is not. Oh, when he dresses up, like, he dresses sharp. You know why? Because my mom does it. It's 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 not him. He's colorblind.
Listen, some of us just need that. I'm not gonna
It's him. It's him. You leave it to him to dress. Church camp was huge there. Listen. Oh
Sagmont,
yeah.
Missouri.
We ranted and raved about the Lord all the
Listen,
time.
so like I was saying, so you go from this, you know, this like I like this good kid, and then you grow up and you want to be a physical therapist
Yeah.
to help people. You go to
Mhm.
church camp and you're helping people, and you fucking zoom through it. Like I was looking through your Instagram and you just fucking just went, meh, 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 meh. I'm graduating this, I'm graduating that. Like I'm taking like it was just it's insane how quickly
Yeah.
like it was.
Yeah,
But like
so I graduated high school like at 18, like everybody else, and I immediately went into college. So I went through college. I didn't have summers off. Like to school in the summers and everything. And typically to get your doctorate is 7 years. I did mine in 6. It was a very, very long and difficult process. Um, I enjoyed it a lot, but it was a lot because I was away from family all the time.
so are
Like,
you like dating at any point here or just like you just no, I'm not dating. I'm just gonna
so
go through and do this.
I
Because
was in a relationship.
I'm trying to
I
figure out
was.
like I don't and I know people like take away all their stuff when they're dating someone, they're no longer dating anybody. But like
Yeah.
you zoom through it in 6 years. Like, do you
Yeah.
have time to date? What is dating like when you're trying to do that?
So everyone's different, right? Like there are people in my class who literally could go out and party every weekend and still pull A's out of their butts, like crazy. And then I was that kid who was high strung and I chose studying over having any fun and, mentally lost my mind like 5 times, but I chose that life.
The
But
picture of you
dating,
laying on the counter is my favorite, by the way. You're lucky I didn't use that one.
laying on the, which one? Well,
The
my
one where you're
head's,
just
like,
out
down. Oh, yeah,
with
that
your
was
eyes
in the middle
closed.
of lab. Oh my gosh. Um, I did date, it was my last year of school. I actually was dating somebody I had gone to undergrad with. It's funny, I won't go into too much details, but I had dated his ex-wife's brother
Oh,
very
I thought you were
briefly.
gonna say his ex-wife. I
Yeah,
was
no.
gonna be like, this just opened up a whole can of new worms.
No, and then that was very briefly, didn't work out and everything like that. And we ended up dating, and you know, I genuinely cared for him as a person. He was an amazing partner and everything like that. I will always talk very highly about him. There were just things that I contributed to it for sure. Because during that time, COVID was happening, right? And graduation was now possibly not happening. And I was like, I just went through 6 years of absolute, like, misery and tears and all this stuff to tell me, like, "I don't know if you're gonna graduate," like, it put me in a really bad place. So what was I doing? I was going and partying with friends and throwing my partner to the side, and we were long distance. And, I never cheated or anything like that. It was just I I did not treat him as a partner because I wasn't dealing with it myself. I was hanging more on towards my, um my friends and partying to just get out of my own head. And it just kind of led to us being like, "Okay, I think we just need to be done."
Listen, I'm very I'm very straight from the hip. So
Mhm,
I appreciate that when if you don't think it's gonna happen, and these are conversations that I've learned to have with
mhm,
my like significant other, and it's like, listen, if you don't want this, done. It's fine. It's
yeah,
gonna hurt, but I'd rather have the Band-Aid ripped off than
yeah,
just sit there and just tug and tug and tug, and it just be this long drawn out process, and you actually hurt more in the end. You really
yep,
do. The
yeah,
hurt is longer because you're prolonging it. If you just tear the Band-Aid off
yeah,
and get it done and know that, there's no hard feelings because listen,
absolutely.
this is what it is. We're not we're not matching. We're not matching like we should. And it
Right.
should be effortless.
Yes.
Effortless. It should. And a lot of people don't understand that. And it sucks because it feels like some people like you ever see Talladega Nights?
Mhm.
You know Ricky Bobby's dad?
Yes.
It feels like so many people are like that.
Yes. Oh
And
yeah.
it really does suck. It's like you have like I've seen TikToks of women just like, "Oh, he was perfect. He did everything I wanted. I just, after 13 years, I'm bored."
Okay, so we're getting on that spiel. Here's my
Yeah.
thing about it. So I've unfortunately gone through a really horrible relationship. That's not one that I want to spend much time on. Let's just leave it at what it is. It changed me. It changed me for the worse to get better. And I there's a lot of things that I learned about myself. I need that communication. I think everyone knows that a relationship needs communication, but there's also a value in understanding that you as a person needs that in a relationship as well. Um, and I wouldn't go as far as to say that relationships are entirely effortless. Like it should feel effortless, but it shouldn't feel like you're constantly grinding like tooth and nail to talk to your person and express things. And I always tell this to people. I was like, if you feel like it's a red flag, it's probably a red flag. If you feel like something's wrong, it's probably wrong. But that doesn't mean just to cut and run. Bring it up, talk about it, and then go from there. If they're not willing to talk about it, then that's not where you need to be. If they're willing to sit down and have a conversation with you and they show that they're trying and changing it, y'all are working together, then go for it. Like relationships should be cut and dry and they're not anymore.
Yeah. No, you're
And
absolutely
that's the problem. Like, and I'm probably gonna upset a lot of feelings and I don't care.
no.
Most of the people on social media who are like, I wish I can find a good man and blah blah blah, or I wish I could find a good woman, they don't need to be. They don't need to be in relationships. You know why? Because you don't need to confess like, oh, I've done this or I've been through this or whatever. Like I do it. I used to do it, and I'll be honest. And that's when I knew I didn't need to be in one because I was still hurting. That's how I was projecting. And we thrive off of love and trauma and everything to get views and likes, hoping that it'll connect us to somebody. And sometimes does it work? Sure, absolutely. But I think that, you know, I see a lot of like what was one that I saw recently? Oh, it was like, he doesn't know what he lost, blah, 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 all this other stuff. I'm like, who cares? Who cares if he knows or he doesn't know? Like, I know y'all are just making a video and like, well, that's not what I mean. I was like, but then why even put it?
Well, my favorite is like imagine telling people this is your ex and it's like why are you just putting out that you're good looking?
Yeah.
Your looks will fade.
Hmm.
You will eventually become the old person at the old folks home. That's what you will
Yeah.
look like eventually.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
but your attitude and your personality will not change. And
Mm-mm.
that's what you need to put forward. You need to put
Yeah.
forward. You don't need to put forward, I make him lunch and dinner and breakfast and this and that and this and that. And I did this.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was
I'm
a
a high
reason.
quality this. I'm a high quality that. Blah blah blah. I'm like, well, don't say you are. Show it.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I throw out my little confident, like, boosters here and there and whatnots, but I'm not ever gonna sit there. And I've told people this a long time ago, and I used to, like I said, I have some videos way back when
Yes,
that was
ma'am.
a little bit more of the savage side of things. But nowadays, I'm like, you know what? No one lost anything. You know why? Because you can't lose something if you're not holding on to it anymore.
Yeah.
You let go of it. Like, I've made my peace with my past mistakes, my what I went through and things like that, and I've moved forward. I am who I am. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. And that's another thing. I'm gonna say this, everyone uses trauma nowadays, and I'm not saying it's not there. I'm
Nope.
not saying trauma's not there. Okay, why are we hanging our hats on, "Oh,
Emotional damage.
Exactly. And it's like, I understand people have trauma. I've been through it myself. And, but I also think that we have now hung our hat so much on that, it's almost like an excuse of why we can't get better in certain areas
You kind of have to use the trauma and the things you've been through to learn.
to motivate you
Yeah.
too.
To
Mhm.
learn, okay, this didn't work out. Like I continuously say, yes, I was a scumbag when I was with my daughter's mother. I was an
Mhm.
absolute scumbag. I
Mhm.
understand why she hated me. I played that little, "Fine, I'm gonna walk home. You live 2 miles away. I don't care, I'm gonna" like, I did all that. I
Yeah.
played the mind games. I was an asshole, a
Mhm.
complete entire asshole. And so I learned from that. If I
Mm.
cheated on her, she cheated on me. I cheated on her more than she cheated on me, but she cheated on me the one, and then the guy she cheated on me with, she's now my daughter's stepfather, which now I have to see. So I kind of like, and I was like, oh shit, that's how it feels. All right,
Yeah.
don't. And that's what kind of, and that's what happened with my first marriage. Like it was kind of like we were kind of going through. We were a COVID statistic. We
Yeah.
kind of just were stuck in the house, and it was just animosity. It was like, we were trying to have a kid, and it was just like, what's going on, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and it started fighting, and we were just drinking all the time, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't want to die by the time I'm 45. Like I
Right.
so and I knew I had, and we spoke about this a lot, not a lot, but like we spoke about it. If we ever felt like we were going to cheat on each other,
Mhm.
we just end it. And
Yeah.
and I had that feeling. I was at the point where I was done. I was at the point where I knew she didn't wanna try to have kids anymore. She really didn't try that much,
Yeah.
but I was at the point where I go, "I know I'm going to cheat on you, and I'm just go let's end this before it goes any
Get
further,"
right.
you know?
Absolutely.
And I didn't wanna do that to her. Like, listen, for as much as she's a Polak,
Yeah.
she's a nice person. Like in her
Yeah.
heart, she truly is a nice person. But I knew in my heart of hearts that I could not stay loyal to her.
Mhm.
I knew that it was going to go
And
awry.
that wasn't gonna be fair for her.
No, and it wasn't. Absolutely not.
Right.
It was not. I would not want to put the hurt that I've felt on
Mhm.
someone else ever again. So I
Absolutely.
I was like, we spoke about it. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And then, enter the second wife, and I was at the beginning a hardcore drunk. I was a hardcore, like, I didn't get her. I think people misinterpret trauma bonding. I don't know. I think,
Yeah.
to me, a trauma bond is you both went through a trauma and you bonded over that trauma,
Yeah.
so we kinda trauma bonded on some things. We helped each other out of, uh, our situations,
Mhm.
did I felt like I didn't understand her, and I would hurt myself. I would never put
Mhm.
a hand on her ever. I never put my hand on anyone, and I
Right.
would be, "Hey, thank you for taking over for me tonight. Had a great evening with the boys." That was Momma J says that.
Ah, thanks, Mama J. You're welcome.
Um, but I would literally bang my head on the ta on the ground, like, eh, and punch myself in the head because I just felt I was so angry with myself. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I had a chance to really get over my 13-year marriage, and I
Yeah.
just jumped into something, So I was like, what am I doing? Blah blah blah. And
Right.
and so, like, and then I stopped drinking. I got sober,
Yeah.
because I realized, I said, hey, I'm heading in the wrong direction.
Right.
So I'm gonna get sober. And I
Mhm.
did. And I did. And I mean, I'll tell an embarrassing story. We were at this house in Florida. We went to go visit her friend, and like I was wasted, to the point where I thought we were at this guy's house, and he had like a bunch of rooms that were like not there's no furniture in it. There was like beds.
Oh.
So I thought she was banging one of the dudes, because she'd left for like 15, 20 minutes, and I thought she was banging one of the dudes. and I was in one of the rooms fucking sobbing, "You're fucking other guys." Like I was like, dude, like what the fuck? Like I was, it was bad. It was bad. Like
Oh my gosh.
yeah, no, and so, but I got sober, and I tried, and I tried to do everything I could to make her feel like I had changed and everything like that, and but she is who she is, and she
Mhm.
just when she checks out of a relationship,
It's checked
she
out.
checked out.
So it's very much like me.
Yeah,
Like once I've dissociated from it, and there's a difference between like my dissociation versus like I have dissociated from something, it's done. Like I have discontinued those feelings.
yeah,
Like it's kind of like that whole like I will always love you, but I'm not in love with you anymore.
and that's what she said to me, and I told her, and I said, "Listen," but that was the thing, like, she kept stringing me along, and
Mm,
that was the thing that frustrated me the most, like, I caught
yeah,
her like, I went to our phone records because it was on my bill,
yeah,
and I'm like, "What are you doing talking to this dude from Tennessee for 200 and something minutes, for, like, 500 and something minutes, 400, like, in the middle at 4 o'clock, and, like, mind
right.
you, she always told me that I wasn't allowed to talk to women. She's like,
Mm,
"I don't like it," and I said, "Okay, fine," and then all of a sudden, she was talking to this guy, and, "Well, he's going through the same thing I went through with my cancer and all this, and I'm trying to help," and I'm like, and then all of a sudden, she's like, "Listen, I need time by myself, I gotta go." So she just left.
okay. See, and that's where I have issues. I'm like, whatever, like those kind of conversations, like I understand there's like a level of privacy that you want to have, but it's like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I see patients every day who go through the same back surgery that I went through. Am I going to sit and have a 500-minute long conversation? Absolutely not. You
And
know, like
and it
that involves an emotional connection.
Mhm, and it
And I'm
has
going to tell you this, emotional cheating is far worse than physical.
it absolutely is. Well,
I
that's the
don't
thing,
care what anyone says.
women I feel that women emotionally cheat, men
Yes.
physically cheat.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing that I said on my live one time is the reason why there's a difference is because men can physically shut off emotions when, they're doing the deed.
Mhm,
Like, you kiss a girl, put your hands on her, all this other stuff. Guys can do it aimlessly without any emotions attached to it. Women can't do that, and so they stray away from doing that. There's some women that can do it, but most of the time they can't. So what do? It's the texting, it's the phone calls, it's the video chats, it's things like that. And I personally have been on both ends of that. I have had the emotional cheating, I've had the physical. All both from both my most recent two relationships. And I just my first like I said, first relationship, none of that happened. But the like two recent ones, absolutely. And it hurts people, and cannot stress this enough. If you are the person who can look at somebody in the eyes and think that your actions are okay, get out of here. Like, you do not need to be in the dating pool. You're the reason the dating pool has piss in it.
it's such
It's sad. This world is a very selfish world. That
it
is
is.
why relationships fail.
It is, but the problem I believe is social media. The problem is social media because you have access to people all over the place,
But
and
see, here's the thing though, it's not social media itself, it's the person behind the social media. You make that conscious choice to cheat. Absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong, like everyone thinks like, "Oh, you have so many guys in your DMs." I really don't. But when I do, like right now, I'm in that era of like I'm open to dating, but I'm not jumping at the occasion. Like I really am like, do I want to be in a relationship? Yes, but am I like, "Oh my gosh, I have to be in one?" No. And I tell guys that like right off the bat, you know? And there was one point like I didn't want to be in one at all. Like, and I ask people to respect me on that. Like, there's no flirting. I'm not doing it. Like, I don't want any of that. I had guys just jumping into my DMs and I would tell them that, like, stop, stop. Like, I will make your cojones disappear. Stop.
it's funny. I laugh because that's what Amanda was like. Literally on all her social media, she was like, single forever, single forever, single forever. And then, I just recently found out the reason why she said yes, and it's
Oh,
because,
story time.
well, I mean, she went to the hospital because of work,
Yeah.
and I had been, my wife left and everything like that. Me and Amanda have been friends for about like a year and some change.
Hmm.
Um, at yeah, about we were friends for about 9 months to a year when we first started dating, and
Hmm.
like it was just lives. We were just in
Yeah.
lives together. Like we were just hanging out and just and talking and just in lives. And everybody's like, "Oh, you and Dave, you're so close. You're like an hour apart from each other. Why don't you guys meet up?" And she's like, "Nope, nope, 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 nope." And she was like, "I was like, ah, come on." And then, nope, 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 nope. So, all right. So
Like, all right, fine.
so she went to the hospital, and nobody really checked on her. Like nobody really checked on her. And
Yeah.
I called her. And I was like, "Hey," or I would text her, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Are you okay? You need me to break you out?" I was like, "You need me to get you a pipe and a crepe, uh, bong and a blitz, the whole Austin
Like,
Powers thing." Because
like, come on.
she was like, "I need a cigarette so bad they won't let me smoke a cigarette," and blah blah blah. And so, I was just joking around. Like I had no there was no intent. I was just trying to be nice, and that's
Right.
that's how I feel
Nobody
like I
should
am.
feel alone in those
Yeah.
situations. Like,
Exactly.
I hear
Like
you.
she was by herself in the hospital.
Yeah.
And so she got out of the hospital. It was her birthday and we were talking and I was dead tired. Like I wasn't sleeping much at this point. Like I was,
Yeah.
in a hole,
Hmm.
climbing myself out of a hole.
Right.
And I'd never been my ex-father-in-law said, "You've never really been by yourself." He was right. I'd been in a relationship one after another for years.
Yeah.
And I'd never been by myself and been an adult. And I was being an adult by myself and I was like, "Okay, I can do this. Like I can do this. This is easy. This is not a problem." And then like I said, I did that with Amanda and then it was her birthday. I was not I was at some point I wasn't sleeping for 2 days. So we were talking and she was like, "Yeah, I could drink you on the table and yeah, I can beat you in pool." And I'm like, "No, you can't. No, you can't. You're not gonna beat me in pool." She's like, "Yeah, I'll beat you in pool. I don't care, blah blah." I was like, "Listen, all right, fine. Find a pool place right by you. I'm taking you to play pool. It's your birthday. You're not driving an
Oh,
hour." And I go, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "No, you're
yeah.
not." I go, "Yes, I am." I
Yeah,
said, "It's your pool."
you're literally squaring up with me. Like, oh,
Yeah,
this is happening.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm taking you to play pool, and you're gonna show me that you're gonna beat my ass in pool. Okay, so get ready. We're going to fucking play pool.
Please tell
And
me
she
she
was
beat
just
your
like,
ass in pool.
"Huh?"
Please tell me she did.
I won.
Mm.
Five to
Mm.
four. I won 5-4.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Okay, it was
she did put up a fight. I'll give
she
her
did
that.
no, she listen. She brought her own fucking stick and everything. I was scared. I was
At
fucking
that point,
scared.
you were just like, wait a second.
What did I
Maybe I
do?
like, you're like, maybe I like kind of like overdid just a smidge.
Maybe I overshot the landing just a little bit.
But he's like, oh, we're good. We're good. Checks and balances are still here.
But yeah. So then that date ended with a kiss, and then
No.
we hung out the next day. Like I came to her house and I literally fell asleep in her arms. Like I laid down on her and I fell asleep, and I hadn't fallen asleep in
Oh
in
my
like
God.
months.
I A lot of my guy friends say that. They're like, if I can fall asleep around you, you are something special. Like, because especially like my first responders and my blue collar workers and my like veterans and stuff like that, that's a huge deal. Like, because that means that they are at peace. Like, they can at least be calm enough to be able to get to that point.
Yeah,
Yes, I did use it first game.
the first game, and then it was on. Okay. By the way, you still owe me a date and address, even though I've
Oh,
gotten that more. I've gotten listen.
hey, hey, listen, baby moon, date night. Let's
I've gotten a
go.
lot more. I've gotten a lot more than a date and address. I'll tell you that right now. But
This is what happens, the birds and the bees, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's one of those things where like she wasn't looking for anybody.
Hmm.
I'd given up because I was just like, it's not gonna happen.
Right.
And then, like I said, I came here, I fell asleep in her arms and woke up like a couple hours later and she's like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Wow, I haven't had that good sleep in a long time." And she's like, "Are you good? You hungry?" And I'm like,
Oh
"Marry
my
me."
God, yes.
Like, marry me.
Literally,
But
that's the way to a man's heart, through their
yeah,
stomach.
yeah, it is. But it's and it's not even.
It's it's more than that. It's honestly, I hate to say it, but common courtesy is a love language now.
It is. Listen, I'll tell you right now, my love language is ball busting, and we bust each other's
Ayo.
balls all the time. But yeah,
That's awesome. It's healthy banter.
it is. But she was telling me some people, like she called me a dick, and I started laughing, and she goes, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "Cause you called me a dick." She's like, "I've called people dicks all the time, and they get mad." And I'm like, "What am I gonna get mad at you for calling me a dick for? I
It
call you
that's it listen, people get offended over everything.
a."
Everything.
Listen, some of these Midwest boys are just fucking boys, and that's a thing. Like I'm trying to teach Spencer not to be a boy, but to be a fucking man. Because some of these guys out here are just fucking sensitive.
Well, and here's the thing. All right, coming from the single girl I am the second choice. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful to myself. It's true. I am the placeholder for when they find exactly what they want. But one thing I have to remember is that one, most boys out there are not healed from their past relationships, so they're looking for their old relationships in somebody else. And I'm thankful I'm not that person because I am not about to be your ex-girlfriend. Like, not how this works. Another part of that is a lot of these boys can't communicate. And it's not "Oh, I'm not good with my feelings." No, 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 no. It's not a no. None of that. What's
Hi,
up, Shelby?
Shelby.
Um, it's not that you can't communicate, it's that you don't want to.
Yeah,
You want to communicate what you want to communicate. Then when you find somebody, and I'm not bringing in the whole, oh, strong, independent women. No, forget all of that. Because the ghosting is horrendous. All you have to do, and I, if I respectfully could bring up a text message I sent to a guy that I had talked to, like he wanted more of the sexual side of things, and that wasn't me. Like I'm trying to build for the future, and I was like, you obviously are more sex derived and everything. And all that, like you're driven that way. I am not. And so I literally said, I said, I hope that you find somebody that is. And I wish you well in your career and all this other stuff and left it at that. Like, I have no problem saying that because I would much rather leave you impressed and more respected of women because I did that. Because I don't get that.
well that and those boys are what fuck it up for everybody, and it
Mhm.
really it sucks. It really does.
It's so hard to wean them out because
It is.
they give you a great persona in the beginning. And then it starts to portray. So now that you've got the lady sucked in, then they're like, "Oh," then that's when our judgment call of making excuses for them comes in because "Oh, they're just tired. They're this." Nope. I am sorry. People that want to talk to you are going to talk to you. People that want to show you that they appreciate you and want to be with you are going to show that.
And people don't get it mistaken. It goes both ways because
Absolutely.
women do the same thing. Because I've had it done myself. Like
Mhm.
I was on a dating app. I was on a couple of dating apps for a little while, and
Mhm.
like there was these women that I was talking to, and like it would few and far between. And it's like, yeah, and they're like, yeah, my kids come first, and I get that. I
Yeah,
truly do.
absolutely.
I understand that.
Mhm.
But if you're going to be on a dating app, you need to set aside that time to speak to that person
Mhm.
once they either match with you or start a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
If you're not if you're
If you do not have that time,
yeah,
then don't waste other people's time.
yeah,
And that's
don't
fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
no. No, there's nothing absolutely there's nothing wrong with it, but just don't waste people's time and just put it like and they go, Well, I told you that my kids. Yeah, I understand that, but
Okay,
you're on a
yeah.
dating app to try to meet people, yet you're trying to tell me that you can't text me back for 3 days?
Yeah.
Like, everything was so busy and everything like that, you couldn't have just been like, "Hey, I'm sorry, let me give me, like, 10 minutes, let me put the kids down," or something like that, or, "The kids are at softball, let me get 2 minutes and I'll text you back." Like, the problem is I don't think people they want courtesy, but they don't wanna give courtesy.
That's the thing. We live in a very hypocritical society. I want this. I want this. I want this. Oh, you're asking me of that? Oof. Mm, sorry. Can't do that. And it's like, it's really annoying because it's like everyone quits so easily.
Yeah,
Like, and here's my thing. I can meet somebody who can talk everything like like tell me and show me that they can be a really good partner for me. But if you are not mentally stable and they're like financially stable and all this other stuff, I'm sorry, that's a no for me. And I'm not saying like I my one of my friends, she was dating a guy and he had PTSD and things like that. Like she's stuck with him. And it's not the reason being is because he's getting active help. I would go through that. That's fine. But it's the ones who are over here like, it's fine, like, just going throughout their days, not getting any help, not trying to seek out a therapist or anything like that. I'm sorry, no. I'm not putting that on my plate because that shows me that you don't want to take care of yourself and you need to put yourself first before you put yourself in a relationship.
yeah. Yeah, that was another thing my ex-father-in-law told me, like, he said to me, "You don't like yourself." And the thing with me is, like, when you tell me something, I'll just be like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fucking badass." But then the rest of the day, I'll be like, "Do I really like myself? Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck does he mean by
Can
that?"
I
Like,
like look myself in the mirror and absolutely love who I see?
and a lot of people can't do that. A
Yeah,
lot of people
I struggle with it.
will front and just be like, "Yeah, you're the baddest motherfucker there is, and, you're the baddest, you're the best," but
Yeah.
people can't. But truly, and I went to therapy. I went to therapy for a while. Like, I graduated therapy. I didn't know that was a possibility, but I graduated from therapy. And when I first started going, I was like, "Yeah, this girl and this and that, and I got these girls," and I finally and the therapist is like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "What do you? I don't care. What do you mean you don't care? You said that should be."
Right.
She's like, It's not what I. It's not liking yourself. That's
No,
not doing
that's
the
like
work."
surrounding yourself with things that you think make you look good.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the end of it, like, it was like, she was like when we were talking, I was like, "Yeah, this happened, and this is the way I dealt with it." And I took the time, and I didn't immediately respond because I knew that if I was going to respond, it would be in anger. So I waited a little while, and they were mad at me. And then I explained to them that the reason why I didn't explain this right away is because, and she's like, "That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear."
It
The
is.
fact that you were
Oop, there it
self-aware.
is.
Yeah, the fact that you were self-aware and you knew that you were about to angry text, and you stopped yourself in that moment and
You were
held off.
like, that's it. It's like, there it is. We
Yeah.
finally broke the ice on
Yeah,
that one. Oh,
but it's a lot of people do that. Like, a lot of
yeah.
people will just angry text, and listen, I'm not gonna say I'm perfect and I know everything because I will angry text every once in a while, but a lot of times when I'm just like, is it gonna get anywhere? And that's what people don't realize. Like, people, and when you're talking about the hypocrisy and people just care about themselves, when you angry text somebody, um, it's not about them. It's about you.
Yeah.
It's about you wanting to be right. And that's what a lot of problems with our society is now, is that nobody wants to just be like, "Hey, I fucked up." Like, I was saying
Right.
before, I know I fucked up. With my daughter's mother, with my first marriage, with my second marriage, like, I knew I fucked up, and I admit it. And I will tell them to their face, "Yeah, I fucked up, and I'm sorry for that."
Right.
But a lot of people don't wanna do that.
Yeah, I think well, and I think that there's some people that will admit that they screwed up, but I don't think they wanna do anything about it. I think that there's a lot of ways to hide from that, texting, Instagram Messenger, whatever you wanna use. I think that there is a lot of people just don't wanna be honest anymore,
No. And
and it's sad. It's really, really
it's
sad.
hard, but it's hard. That's the
Yeah.
problem. Everybody rather take the easy way out. Everybody would
Right.
rather take the
Right. And that's the thing, and it's like, if I get emotional on this one, it's for
it's
good reason. So,
it'll be great to put on a clip, so cry all you want.
um, my second relationship was with somebody that I had known since high school. That was my person, or at least who I thought was my person, but that was my manipulated person. He knew me to a T because he could use me against me. And I won't go into other details about things. Again, I'm not here to bash that person.
Mhm.
I have made peace with it. He got married, has a family of his own, and I don't wish anything of him. I don't wish him poor. I don't wish him well. I don't wish anything. But I want people to understand when you have gone through manipulation and then all of a sudden it has all been ripped away from you, your world turns upside down. And the biggest thing that I tell people, I did not love myself enough to know I deserved better. I had gone through years of bullying. I had gone through my teammates in high school bullying me. I mean, when I say I was bullied from kindergarten through even into grad school, absolutely. But a part of it was also I was not true to myself. I changed myself hoping that I would fit what people wanted of me instead of just letting people get to know me. Not saying that it was right of them to still treat me like crap, but it was hard. And I think that it took a lot for me to sit there and be like, part of it was my fault. It was, and I'm okay with admitting that because I've done something about it. And I even talked to my best friend, I absolutely love her to death. Her and I have really good conversations about things. We're both stubborn. Like we say something and we're just like, shut up, I'm not gonna listen to you. Like you don't know anything. But it is true. Like I told her the other day, I was like, what I needed to do in the dating world is I need to stop looking at every tiny little thing as a protective mechanism to keep myself from being happy. Because that's what I did for so long, you know? But there are also things that people also need to stand on their ground. People don't stand on their standards anymore. If there are things that you absolutely need and you're not getting that, then stand your ground. You can't fall in love with the idea of what someone's going to be because they're not going to be that. And if people don't start admitting that more, that it's relationships are just going to continue to fail.
Well, a big thing also is communication with that,
Oh my
and
gosh, yes.
proper
Proper
communication.
communication. And
Proper.
don't
There's a
don't talk out of anger. If you are angry, walk away,
Yep.
cool down and come back. Cuz the worst thing you can do is do anything out of anger. Been there, done that, and I've hurt feelings. I told my own mother I didn't love her because I was angry.
Been there.
Like, and saw my mom's world, like, shatter, and it took me until college to apologize to her for it. Like, it killed me on the inside, but I'm like people are like, "Oh, well, no, I have to talk about it right then and there," and I'm the type of person, I'm like, "No, let's talk about it right here, right now. I've got squirrel brain, I'm gonna forget things that I need to say. I've got bullet points in my head right now, let's go." But what I've had to understand is that when I'm angry and my best friend saw this, I was like, "I need to walk away and cool off for a second, and then I will come back." Because trust me, you've seen me get a little bit fired up. I'll
Mhm.
hurt some feelings,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. That's not what our conversations are about. I don't want to hurt you.
But
I want to be
it's a
understood, and I wanna understand you.
but it's a defense mechanism because I've been there.
Yes.
I know exactly
Mhm.
where you were. Listen, my nickname in high school is FDR. It was Fat Dave and my last name. Yeah, that was my nickname in high school. Okay, so I know exact. I had a kid put a knife to my throat, and I was like, at senior high school, and I was like, "Fucking do it, just do it, dude, do it. I
Yeah.
please, just put me out of my fucking misery and just do it. I fucking
Yeah.
dare you." And
And you're just like,
right after that, like that's when it kind of clicked in my head a little bit. Like, you don't have to let these people do this shit to you. You don't
no,
have to let people take advantage of you.
no
You can stand up and fucking dare them right in their face
face. And they won't.
to fucking do it. And 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna fucking do it. 9 times out of 10, they're just frustrated themselves with their life.
Yeah. I
So yeah,
asked like a girl one time who bullied me a lot. Like I finally asked her, I was like, why? Why did you do it? Why me? What did I do? She's like, you didn't do anything. It was me. And I was just like, okay. And she apologized to me. And I was just like, it's so true when they say like most people don't treat you how they feel about you, it's how they feel about themselves.
yep.
Not saying it's an excuse. I've done it myself. Like when I am not in a good headspace, like I tend to be a terrible person because I'm hurting. And I'll be honest, like I hide a lot of things because it's like I'm supposed to be the person that helps everybody. And I'm so used I went through it. Don't get me wrong, my parents helped me as much as they could as parents. And I love them to death for it and I always will. I I'm so passionate about helping people because no one was passionate for me. And I don't ever want somebody to ever feel like that. Now, do I just think everyone deserves my help? No. Like some people are just terrible people and they can, let karma and the good Lord do the good works on them. But I'm just saying, listen, the Lord can do it because I don't look good in the jumpsuit orange, okay? Like we're not doing all that. But it's like I never do anything out of malicious intent. I never do anything for personal gain. I don't do it for malicious intent. I do things coming from the bottom of my heart. And that's why I think it frustrates me in the dating world that so many people use people
Mhm.
for personal gain. Like like for example, the common one that I hear is just like, "Oh, you and I were just friends, so I can talk to whoever I want." Okay, hold on a second. If you're talking to somebody else or genuinely interested in someone else, don't let me or anybody else do something to you, like kiss you, hold your hand, whatever, while you're talking with somebody else. Why? Because that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's a cop out. It's disrespectful because I know good and well, like if someone was talking to somebody else or interested in someone else, I wouldn't do absolutely nothing that would cross that boundary.
It I had a girlfriend one time,
Girlfriend.
and yeah, it was because wanted she wanted to be my girlfriend because her friends dared her.
Oh,
Yeah, in middle school. And
oh,
like it was one of those things, and it was just like, okay. And that's how gullible I used to be. Like I was just you
I
know,
had a guy tell me to my face, "You really think I could date you with scarred skin like that?" Because I have acne issues and like I have it on my like chest and back. I have scarring and things like that. And I literally had a guy say, "You really think I could date a girl with scars and acne like you?" And I'm like, people are just like, "Oh, it's just a dumb guy. That's not the guy for you." I was like, "It doesn't matter. That stuff still sucks."
yeah, that it hurts.
Yeah, especially in the society we live in now where everyone's got porcelain skin and pays thousands of dollars to look like drop dead gorgeous. I'm like, listen, I'm a physical therapist. I don't make that kind of bank.
I just and I've said this like and I try to tell this to my daughter like, stop putting on fucking 17 pounds of makeup. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't look good. It
Mm-mm.
does not look. I don't. If you when you find someone who likes you for who you are
Yeah.
and just who, like, just whatever, like this is what, and it's such a weird concept when
Mm-hmm.
women say, "Oh, I dress up for myself. I don't dress up for guys."
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh no,
no,
I'll dress up for guys too.
yeah, but it's like you're dressing up for. What are you dressing up for then? Like, no, I know
Right.
it. You're dressing up so you can be better and look better than the other women that's there most of the
Oh,
times.
absolutely.
But be, and this is what I love. Like, this is what I love about Amanda. Like, she's different. She's fucking
Mhm.
different. She works for Ford. She works on the line. Like, she's got a great personality. Be a
Yeah.
better person. I don't give a shit
Mhm.
what the fuck you look like. And
Yeah.
guys will, when it comes down to it, as much as they put out this bravado and all this stuff like that, we're M&Ms. We want to be we're this hard candy shell, and on the inside we're fucking mushy pieces of
Mhm.
garbage.
Oh yeah, just watch how when y'all get sick.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm
Oh my god,
dying.
we're the worst. We're the
Oh my gosh.
worst.
Little babies, go to the doctor. I
I
can't.
don't want to go to the doctor.
I don't need to go to the doctor. I'm
But
fine. It'll blow over. And as you're like hunched over, like in the blanket, like that ideal like thermometer in the mouth. Oh, I'm dying.
listen, I don't want to be touched. Nothing when I'm sick. Just leave me alone. I don't want.
Listen, here us women over here, like just running marathons and
Yeah.
going like everything.
I have one baby on one titty, fucking running a marathon while she's got 103 fever, and you're
Listen.
just like, and then
And she just discovered the new software for like Microsoft. Like we're
yeah,
doing like all of the
yeah.
above. And it's
She's
funny, like my boss literally looks at me, he's like, if you're calling out of work, I know you don't feel good. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, I'm not gonna come to work when if elderly patients are immune compromised for one. Although my patients are very nice to let me know, when they've got a nice cough going on, I can smell like the tuna salad that they had for lunch. But, it's the
I
patient
don't feel
stories I could
good.
tell you.
It's tuna.
The patient stories I could tell you. Oh my gosh, I probably get people like puking on this
Hmm? Well,
podcast. It's
tell me
disgusting.
one.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there was one week our pool was down. The filter was broken and everything like that, right? So we're like, okay, we don't have a filter pool. It's not safe, anything like that. So we're not getting patients into it. So we're calling patients being like, hey, pool's down. Are you okay with doing land therapy? If they're not, then we'll just cancel their appointment. No charge to them, anything like that. Well, there was one patient. This patient, not VIP, definitely not VIP, reoccurring, frequent flyer, as we like to call it. And patient comes in. It's just like, okay, so we get in the pool? And then it's just like, no, the pool's closed. And she's like, well, what's wrong with it? Well, the filter doesn't work. Well, how long has the filter been down? Like asking all these questions. And she's like, well, I can still get in the pool. And the therapist is like, I'm not getting in the pool. I'll do it from the side if she wants to, but I'm not getting in the pool. I was like, why are we allowing this? But whatever. Patient gets in the pool, and I kid you not, as the patient leaves from the clinic, they were just like, "Yeah, it was really good to be able to get in there because it felt like there was more chlorine to help my yeast infection." Yeah, and I literally sat there.
Emotional damage.
I sat there. I sat there in the clinic, and I was like, "Did she really just use our pool for gynecologic purposes?" Disgusting.
Good God.
Yeah. I Some of these patients are wild, and the amount of patients who are like, "I was an exotic dancer," and I was like, "That makes sense why your knees are bad," but,
Ma'am, just put platform shoes back on and just go home. Just put
I'm
them
gonna
back
start
on.
walking into the clinic with my platform shoes and be like, "Was this the move you did?"
Just
But the creepy old men are the worst.
listen. I get that because listen, you get the men most for the most part who are just the at the I don't give a fuck part of
Yeah,
their life.
which fine, okay, the little, like, innocent flirting and stuff with us is fine, and I'm the youngest, so of course they're all gonna flirt with me because 'cause I'm single, I'm the youngest, brings them back to their youth age or whatever. Because Viagra ain't doing it, okay?
We don't grow out of 16. We don't. No matter what. No
No,
matter
you
what
don't.
happens. We
That's what
don't
my
grow.
grandpa used to say, "I'm a 16-year-old stuck in an 86-year-old body."
He was absolutely right. Listen,
Yeah.
fucking 2010 was fucking no, not even 2001 was when I graduated. That was 10 years ago for me, all right? That was 10 years ago for me. That's
Oh my gosh.
2001,
I'm gonna humble you so much. I didn't graduate high school till
14.
2014.
No, I know. I know, madam. Like I said, I scrolled through your Instagram.
I'm not even 30, okay?
I know. I know. Listen. And you're very like and this is why I say it's very it women definitely mature quicker than men because
Yes.
men, like I said, your grandfather said, I'm still 16 in an 86-year-old body. We're
It's
still
true.
we act so immature, but I think that's what makes men able to just get over things that women don't. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
they can compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Men
we
are just
cannot.
able to just be like fight it out and then like with
We're done.
two black guys were sitting there having a beer 2 hours later. Like and we're just like weren't you guys just fighting 10 minutes ago?
I
And
don't
you're like,
even
yeah.
remember what the fight was
Well,
about.
yeah,
That's fine.
I don't even remember what the fuck happened. Meanwhile, you'll have a woman whose
Listen here,
best
in
friends
1977 at 12:36 p.m.
listen, a woman will go out and will fuck her best friend's husband because in 8th grade she got her best friend finger popped her boyfriend in 8th grade and she's like, "Yeah, I got that bitch back." And it's like, "You held it for how long? You held it for 40 years and you fucked her ex-husband? You fucked her husband?" Like,
Listen, it amazes me. And let me tell you this. Let me give you some advice for the men out there. If your girl's asking about it, she knows about it, don't even try. Just don't. We are FBI agents,
yeah.
okay? Like, that was a requirement to come out of the womb for us, okay? Like, we are federally, like, shit. Like, we are literally, like, on it. But the thing about it is like, so there's a book I read when I actually read, because I hate reading. Um, and so I don't hate reading. My ADHD doesn't let me enjoy reading at all. But men are waffle, or women are spaghetti. Men compartmentalize. They have a box for everything, whether it be cars, their emotions, or literally a box of nothing. Because there are times when guys are like, "What are you thinking about?" And they say nothing. There is a good chance they probably mean we are thinking about nothing.
Fucking not
Versus
a thing.
women, we can't think about nothing. Because why? Because nothing turns into a, well, I wonder why he's not texting me, or I wonder why he's not talking about me. Oh, I forgot to go to the store. I should probably let him know that I'm going to go to the store, because if I don't go to the store, then I'll be behind on things. I won't be able to go get stuff from,
Yep,
everything.
100% Amanda said.
Oh, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Like, it's crazy because women are emotionally driven. Men
Yeah,
are not. Like, I'm not saying that men don't have emotions. By the way, it's Men's Mental Health Month. We are
yes.
coming to the close of the month. And I think one thing to preface this is men's mental health should be a thing all the time,
Yeah.
and men have emotions. And I think they are not emotionally driven because they are told not to be.
Yeah.
I love it. And I say this not to make fun of anybody. I love it when a man cries. I love it. I love it. Why? Because then I know that he is comfortable enough to feel the way that he feels.
Listen, it's a double-edged sword.
It
And
is.
and I'll tell you why. It's because me, I was always supposed to be the strong one in my family. I was
Yeah.
supposed to be like if I broke down, people were looking at me like, "Well, what's wrong with you? What do you mean what's wrong? I have feelings too. Like I can feel things also."
Yeah.
And but everybody comes to me for the answers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have the answers. And then they get mad at me when I don't have the like I don't it's
Or they
not
get mad at you when you say something they don't want to hear.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
a classic examples I don't talk to my dad and uh wait, everything about David an hour before we met at the pool.
You're just
What does that mean, madam?
I'm pretty
Um,
sure that's like, those like little like pool guns, you open the tab and all the water floods in.
yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
yeah, probably. Um, but me and my dad don't talk is because we're both stubborn. But when my parents got divorced, like he was telling me that I need to be the go between my mom and her boyfriend. No, my
Mhm.
dad had a girlfriend. They were both
Oh.
they were both in new relationships pretty fucking quickly. It was kind of weird. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
but so my dad was trying to get me to be the go between, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
You're
I'm
like,
like, no, you're an adult. He's an adult. You
right.
guys have to, you know, talk to each other eventually. No, you do. No, I'm not doing it.
Mm.
No, you have to do it. I'm not doing it.
I don't
I,
have to do
yeah,
anything.
I'm a 30. I believe it was 30. I'm like I'm a 30-year-old man. I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do. That's not my job. That
Right.
you as an adult, as the father,
Should be doing
yeah,
yourself.
should be doing that. And then we didn't talk after that. But when people like put their foot down, when you have boundaries, and that's what I had to find out, like especially later on in life, that there's a boundary. Like
People pleasing. People pleasing.
yep, yeah, I was one of those. I was a people
Ooh.
pleaser, and when
Oh,
people finally like when you put your foot down, they get angry at you, and then you
yes.
go, and that's when you have to learn to like not give a shit.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like your mental health is a lot more. It's more worth your mental health than their
Yes.
satisfaction of what you do. And and
Absolutely.
and I had to learn that. But it's a double-edged sword with men because they have to be the one who is supposed to be strong and
They have
and
to
they're
put everything else first,
yeah.
and then if you have time, we'll get to how you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have these videos of these women emasculating men, and when men have feelings, they're just like, "Look at this bitch. Look at this. Oh, he's crying." And it's just like, so you want a guy who is a certain way, but then when he shows you that he has feelings, then
Mhm.
you mock him for it?
Yeah.
Like
And
what
it's
what
like,
was
so this is why he goes back into that little box. And it's sad because I sit here and I'm like I said, I want someone to be that emotional with me. Like there might be times I might say the wrong things and stuff like that. More than likely I will. My mouth has a mind of its own sometimes. And the thing about it is like I would much rather you sit there and just break down in front of me because then I know, all right, let's start the real work.
Mhm.
Like that's where we're at with things. And it's really sad because a lot of my guy friends are still in that mentality of like, "I'll be fine. I'll be fine. Everything's good." And I'm like, "But you're not gonna be fine. How many fines is it gonna take for you to be done?" And I don't want you to be done because that's where we have the suicide rates. And I'm so tired of these women, these entitled women. There's a difference between being a strong, independent woman and an entitled one.
Yep.
And I think that's where the biggest misconception is there's a lot of entitled women out there. There's not a lot of strong, independent women.
Yeah.
And, congratulations, you're at a job, you bought your own house, you do this, you're a single mom. Love my single moms, not hating on them, okay? But bashing another man, okay, he did you wrong. I'm sorry. I really am. Been there, done that. But that's entitlement. You feel like you're entitled to your opinion to hurt somebody else,
Yeah.
and
Because you've been
then
hurt.
I'm gonna be honest, most of the guys, I think they'll agree with me on this, they're gonna see those videos and be like, "Oh, well, if I do one wrong thing, she's gonna bash me on the internet." So I wouldn't blame y'all to be turned away from dating whatsoever at all, because I get turned away when I see guys do that. I really do, because it's like, oh, it's every single time of like, I can't find a woman who can do this, or I can't. We're here, like we're here.
They're
You
just
know
usually
that
the second choice.
exactly. I am the let me hang on to you until I find exactly what I want. And I'm like, go ahead. But I get tired of it. I do. I get tired of the constant back and forth. And that's not to say I don't have guys that are interested in me. Like I've had guys tell me I have a crush on you and things like that. Fine. And I used to feel so bad when I'd be like, "Well, I'm a great guy." And I'm like, "I'm not saying you're not a great guy. You're just not the guy for me." I have this weird sense, and I think that the masculine version inside me, I can tell within the first 30 seconds if you're somebody I'm gonna be with. Like, I can tell right off the bat. I can literally place you into if we're gonna be friends or if we're gonna be if this is something worth pursuing for a possible relationship. And guys think always come at me and be like, "Well, that's not fair. You haven't spent time with me." I have a very good sense of vibes. Like, I can tell right off the bat if you're a guy who's your typical, "My daddy's a lawyer" type guy versus a guy who's actually genuine, you know? And there's a lot that goes into it. Getting into my 30s and things like that. There are things in my life I still wanna accomplish. You should be wanting to accomplish these things too. I should not have to be your mother. I shouldn't have to tell you to eat. I shouldn't have to tell you that you need to take care of your mental health. I shouldn't have to tell you to save money. Trust me, I'm not the greatest at saving money. Listen, DoorDash is a kryptonite.
But that's the thing with where I come back to the communication part,
Mhm.
and I was and I've been a victim of it myself. Like
Yeah.
I preach communication, preach communication, preach communication,
Yes.
and I fall victim to not communicating properly because I feel like when I try to communicate,
You're not
sometimes
heard.
it doesn't come out correctly. You
Oh,
know,
like you want it to come out.
Yeah,
Yes.
like with me and Amanda, it's easy. Like
Yeah.
I'm so happy with
Yeah.
our
Well, even
relationship.
then, if you feel like it's not coming out correctly, the right person is going to help you
Yes.
figure it out. They're
Yep.
not going to be like, "Oh, wow, you just insulted me," and be like, "Okay, is that exactly what you meant?" Like, that's why it's the reiteration of like, "Okay, did you mean this?" Because a lot of times you're like, "No, that's not at all what I meant."
Yeah, but a lot of times, and this is where shitty people exist, is like they'll take that and they'll turn it against you, and that's where a lot of the
Yes.
issues lie, and that's where you have to just stop and go, wait a minute, am I with the right person? Wait, hold on, what'd she say?
I hate that the most. I'm not here to hold your hand and tell you to do simple tasks. I'm here to walk through life with you, not teach you how to be a regular person.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Like, there are things like, unfortunately, our education system has failed on teaching people, but again, like she said, you walk through life with somebody.
yeah.
You're not guiding them through their life. You are doing it hand in hand. Now, sometimes you're going to fall and you're going to have to go back and help them back up. It happens. That's life. That's unfortunately
Well,
life likes to kick us in the balls.
one time she got mad at me because of previous, and that's another thing. Like she said something the other day in one of the lives, and I went and I immediately told her, I go, by the way, you triggered my PTSD about something. And we laughed about it, and she's like,
Oh,
I'm so sorry. And it was
yeah.
genuine. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't,
You knew that she wasn't doing it
yeah. And
maliciously whatsoever.
I had to like I had to talk myself down. Like that's not
Mhm.
her. It's not the same thing. You know who you with. You know she's not that. So and
Mhm.
I was like, okay. And then I went and talked to her about it. And she didn't
Mhm.
turn around and make it be like, you don't trust me. She just laughed about it. She's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I know.
Sorry.
Yeah, like it was, and it wasn't like a I'm so sorry. Like it was no, it was like a my bad, like my bad. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
It's
And
kind of
we
like a
yeah we
ooh.
laughed about it, but it was one of those things. But I triggered hers because we were talking one time when we first started getting together when we were first together, and it was just like a simple, hey, where's this? And it was just and she'd been in a relationship where literally the guy couldn't read. And like she had to walk him through like everything. And like she was just like, it's a simple Google search. You can't just and I was like, okay, my bad. I was like, I just she and she explained to me
Yeah.
why she's like, I'm not you. I was like, I know, I understand that, but it was one of those things, it was just a quick, hey, do you know what this is? Or hey, do you know what this is? You
Right.
know, it wasn't like I know I can Google it myself, but we were talking and I was in the middle of driving somewhere and I was
I
like,
feel
"Hey,
like Amanda and I would get along very well because I'm very much the person I'm like, listen, have no liberty to help somebody who can't help themselves. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and listen. Like, I'm here for someone to vent and all that stuff, but I'm not. If you're not gonna sit there and help yourself, I'm sorry, I'm not
yeah,
gonna do it.
yeah,
Kind of like when I was at work at my old job, like I was share like I went to a course and I had all this information, but I wasn't willing to share it. Why? Because I knew you were gonna take it from me.
yeah."
You wanted me to do all the work and put your name on it. That wasn't gonna happen. And he got mad at me because I wouldn't share that. And I was just, I'm not listen, I'm not here to do the work for you. Like that's not how this works.
Well,
Like,
see, I just it's funny because it's like TikTok, right? You know,
mhm.
and I love going in lives.
I've said
I've s
so many times, I can't help you if you don't want to help yourself first. Yep. Yeah,
the
and I am not here to make you happy. I'm here to add to your happiness. Are
yeah,
those the sweet tart ropes?
they're the smoke sticks from Bucky's.
That was definitely not the same thing.
No, but those are good too. I got a whole bag. I don't even know where they
Oh,
are.
Cat,
I
aka Dr. Cat, is a huge candy connoisseur. I love candy, like so
I
much.
have a whole bag of those little mini ropes, the nerds mini ropes. Yeah,
Yes, they're
they're
so
so
good.
good. But yeah, my brain just went. "Brrr."
We were talking about like you can't help yourself if you haven't helped yourself first.
Yeah, well, I just want to talk about like TikTok lives. Like
Hmm.
you go into them, right? And
Yeah,
it's funny. You'll see all these dudes like, "Yo, make me a sandwich. Yo, I need, a woman will do this. A woman should do that. A woman." And I just sit there and I laugh, like, because these
you
guys just
want
go,
us to do that because you don't want to do
yeah.
shit.
But these guys are just like they consider themselves doms, right? And I say it in quotes, right? Because I won't go into certain things, but I'm just
Or alpha males.
yeah, like and I won't go into our lifestyle, but I know how to be one. Let's just put it that
Hmm.
way.
Yeah.
And that's not it, boy. Like, bro, like that's not it. Like, you don't
Mm-mm.
just go, yeah, yeah, make me. Oh yeah, I want you. And but the problem is that some of these a big portion of these girls buy into that shit.
They fall into it, and
Yeah,
I'm like, and I, ladies, I'm gonna say it. Why y'all being so dumb?
Be-
Why?
a lot of them crave the attention, and once again, it's like it's like
A
it's
part of
like
me
doing
wonders
drugs.
is like, is it like you're craving the attention because you've never gotten attention, or is it you're craving attention because you got so much negative attention?
I believe it's kind of like it's like doing drugs. It's like that dopamine hit. Like you're just
Yeah,
like on this dopamine high, and you're getting this attention, you're getting this, you're
yeah,
getting that, and then finally, when you were in this relationship, quote unquote, with this person,
yeah,
and you realize that this is not what I wanted. Like I don't want this at all. And then you
yeah,
go your separate ways, and now it becomes more content. Like everybody's focused so much on content now, and so
yeah,
much on making money online. And to be
yeah.
honest with you, like good on those people who make money. It's not gonna fucking last.
No,
It's not going to last. And y'all are just out here spending money and taking people's money. And
I was just waiting until y'all gonna file your taxes because you
yeah,
made more than $600.
yeah. And it's and you keep getting money from people and you're misleading people in the way you are.
Yeah.
And then you find out who the person really is, and then it becomes this whole
Mhm.
thing of now this person versus this person, that person versus that person, this person versus,
Yes.
and it's like bro, like and it makes me laugh because I sit there and I watch these guys like do that,
Yeah.
and then it happened the other night in the live, and I got frustrated because these guys were just saying all these things, and this girl's like, "No,
Yeah.
you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wear this blah blah blah, and I'm gonna take this guy." And I go, "Shut the fuck up! It's
Like,
not what you're gonna
stop.
do. You're not
Stop.
gonna take any guy. You're not gonna do anything with him. You're gonna what you want is a guy to rip that outfit off you, tell you to shut the fuck up, sit down, and then you're gonna do what he's gonna tell you to do." And she was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah." Yeah. How the fuck did you know that? I'm like, because
Like,
I'm
that's
not
what
these I'm
most
not these
women
other
want.
fucking idiots in here like, yeah, make me a sandwich. Yeah, do this for me. I'm not that fucking guy.
Yeah.
I understand. I know what the fuck you want, and I know what the fuck you think. All right?
Yeah.
So don't get it twisted. Just
It's
because I'm
this
in here
like
making these jokes and everything and laughing and having a good time, I have another side, and I know
right.
exactly what you want. And these guys, this little banter thing is not anything. And some guy was coming in.
That's like the whole egotistical side of it. Not like I'm an actual like alpha male, like genuine man. Like there is a difference.
And that's what a lot of these younger guys have to learn is like you don't always have to say these
Okay.
bro-ish bullshit things because
Like
that's
I
all it
said,
is.
remember that live out for that one guy who was at the bar or whatever? I was like, okay, all you gotta do, all you gotta do, because he was like, my friend dared me to go up to this girl I think is cute and give her my number. And I said, okay, all you gotta do, and I promise you, every girl will always remember this. Go up to her and you say, hey, I think you're really beautiful. I want to give you this. Have a good night and walk away. I promise you, you're gonna have so much better luck than throwing out like, hey, you look so sexy or
Yeah.
you're looking hot, like all this other stuff. Why? Because nobody like I don't want to say this. I get told I'm beautiful, not frequently, but it does happen. But I want to say like if someone like comes up to you at a bar or wherever you're at and says, "Hey, you're really beautiful." And you just say, "I hope you have a good day," and then you walk away, that's gonna mean a lot to her.
Yeah, because girls are fucking different than dudes. It'll stick
Yes.
in a girl's mind, and she just like, and you just go up to them, just say it, and just walk
And
away.
guess what happened? She texted him.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it works.
but it works. It works in a lot of things. Like I met David Deal from the Giants one time,
Mhm.
and people were coming up to him. We were at a Chuck E. Cheese, and it was funny. Like I noticed him, like in Wayne, New Jersey. We were at a Chuck E. Cheese, and I go, "Holy shit! I know who that's David Deal." And I
Yeah.
started talking to him. Didn't ask for a picture. Didn't ask for nothing. I
Yeah.
just started talking to him. We were having a conversation. He told me all about his DUI and his divorce before it even became public. And we talked for 2 hours.
Mhm.
And people were coming up to him asking for pictures. That's the one thing I didn't do. Why? Because I wasn't that person. I wanted to come and
Right.
talk to him and like, "Oh, man, hey," and have a conversation. And it was like too fucking it was the coolest thing ever. And we
Yeah.
hung out and then people were just coming up, "Hey, can I have a picture?" And I remember and everybody's like, "Oh, you got a pic." I was like, "No, I don't have a picture." "Well, how do we know what happened?"
Right.
"I don't care if you know what happened.
I
I know
don't care if
what
you think
fucking
it happened or not.
I know what
It's
happened. It was the coolest
right.
fucking one of the coolest 2 hours of my entire life where I got to hang out with David Deal at a Chuck E. Cheese,
Right,
the
exactly.
offensive tackle for the New York Giants. Like,
Yeah.
and but, like, that's the thing is, like, people don't understand, like, a quick, like, "Hey, you look beautiful. Here you go. Use it or don't." And then don't get mad if she doesn't. It'll
Mhm.
work. It'll work 6 out of 10 times.
Mhm.
It'll work
Absolutely.
because you just, "Here you go."
Oh yeah.
And you'll have a girl who'll just probably a bunch of times, a girl will just crinkle it up, throw it in her pocketbook, and just
And
like,
just forget about
"What
it.
was that?" And then all of a sudden, she'll find in her pocketbook one day, open it up, and she's like, "Oh, yeah, that was that guy."
Mhm.
Maybe she'll text you, maybe she won't. But you know
Yeah, and
what?
if she doesn't, that's okay. We love that's the confidence we like.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, it's very sweet. And it's always nice to get a compliment like that. Like, here's another thing. You want to know something that really does grind my gears when it comes to TikTok? So the Cheer Choice Awards happened back in April, right?
Mhm.
And big creators are there. People are gonna spend money to come and meet their big creators. It hurts my heart that some of these people get so upset because their creators are not what they end up being. And unfortunately, I have met some creators that really disappointed me. It is sad. And so I always tell people, I'm like, you can follow who you want, but be very mindful of who you are following because there are a lot of creators who are all about the battles, who really aren't about what they preach. You know, there's a lot of them that go to meetups that want to sleep around. Hey, and my thing is, you want to sleep with whoever, go ahead. You want to cheat on whoever, I don't care. I am not there for anybody else's drama. I'm not here. I don't want drama at all. I am there to represent myself and what I stand for. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that will go there to meet their creators, and it's like they just spent, like a couple hundred to $1,000 for them to be like, "Hey," and then walk away.
A lot of things about creators, especially online, is like they're creating online because a
Yep.
lot of them don't know how to be social in real
Yep.
life.
Mhm.
They know how to be social in a camera,
Yes.
and that's one of the things I pride myself on is I'm this dummy no matter where I am. I'm too
What you
lazy.
see is what you
Yeah,
get.
I'm too
Yeah, like,
lazy to put
make
on
a
a
whole different
hey,
persona of
uh,
myself for
hey,
everyone else.
hey guys, how are you?
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm an asshole in real life, and I'm an asshole online, and that's who I am. If you like me, you like me. You don't, you don't. And I don't.
And I have no problem with also like you had asked me about a trip and everything, and I was just straight up like, you know what, I'm not gonna go because there are people there that I don't want to be around and I don't want to be associated with.
And you have every right to be. You have
Yeah.
every right to
And
not want to. And it's and it's. I've heard some things.
mhm.
I don't want to speak ill of the parties
Mhm.
involved.
Right. And
But
neither do I, but it's like that is a choice that I can make and everyone else can continue on. That
and the reason why I say that is because I don't want to do it behind people's back. I don't.
exactly.
I'm not that person. I will. If I say it
Right.
behind your back, I'm going to say it to your face. Would I choose to say it to your face first? Absolutely. I would
Jordan, I get
absolutely.
stage fright in front of a camera. Girl, I remember my first time going live. That was rough. Rough.
Dude, I remember I used to go live.
I go live until like 5 o'clock every morning. I don't like I missed work a couple of times because like I was so tired. Like I slept through my alarm and everything, and I was
Yeah,
like, listen, I can't be doing this.
that's
So
what I
now
was.
I like just hop into box.
That's what I was doing during that 4 month period after between my ex and Amanda. Is I was just on live like I wouldn't sleep. I would just jump from live to live and just go to work, and then come home, jump on
It's
another live,
crazy.
and then just keep going because I wanted the distraction kind of being alone. But in the
Yeah.
same token, I was alone, and I would have to jump off to do normal. I had a dog. I had her kid that she left with me, and I
I
had
used
to
to do
take
live
care.
every day. Now I'm never on TikTok.
Yeah, yeah, Amanda. Yeah, she used to be. I've gone live all alone once. Now I just hop into boxes, suing as. Well, listen,
Hey,
people love it.
listen.
I love ASMR.
Dude,
Not gonna
I
lie.
like the I'm gonna everyone thinks I'm weird for it. I love the hair brushing. The hair
Me
brushing,
too.
hair
Me too.
scratches. Oh my
Me
gosh.
too.
They
I
give me
love.
like such the tingles. I'm
I
like, I
do.
literally have my phone laying on my chest and I'm just laying there in bed and I'm like, oh, this is bliss.
Me too. I don't know why. I wish
Oh
there
my
was a reason
gosh.
why I can explain it, but I can't.
Same,
Like
but
it.
I think it's because nobody's doing it to me. So I'm like, oh, I'm living vicariously through my phone.
It's like I just.
This is
But
this is a boyfriend without a boyfriend.
But no, but I have like I have Amanda, but it would be creepy if she was just as I was sleeping, just be like, "Hey, I'm gonna brush your hair. I
Oh my
think I
gosh.
think you look fantastic. Oh, look, it's like this.
Oh
Hi."
my gosh. I
She
can't even
falls asleep as
imagine.
this is what she fall. How it's made is what I fall asleep to.
I forgot about that show.
That's such a
Listen,
great
that
show.
show, like, there was some stuff I was like, "That's no, there's no way." Like, y'all
Listen,
lying.
I didn't realize it was actual fucking when people were remember when they were like, yeah, chicken nuggets or this pink mush and all that stuff, and then I
Yep.
finally watched how it's made, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Chicken is pink when when you take all the chicken and you
I
cut it
mean,
up and everything.
technically, yes, but, like, it looked like silly putty, and I was
It
just like,
did.
"Listen, I'm not putting that fart stuff in my mouth, okay?"
It did. Listen, it's delicious. I mean, it's declined from where it used to be, but yeah, it was delicious. But yeah, how it's made is such a great show. I love those kind of
You
shows.
know what show is also a really good show? Whose Line Is It
I
Anyways?
love
The
Who's Line.
old the old one. Oh my
They
gosh.
came to Topeka and I saw them live.
Did you really?
It was great. Yeah, they came to Topeka and I saw them live and it was
Oh,
such a
by the
good
way,
time.
steaks are done. Your wife
Ah,
said steaks.
thanks. This is how we communicate during the show. I don't look at my phone. Like I hate looking at my phone during a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is how she communicates. Thanks, babe. I will be out in shortly. But yeah, I
Okay,
just
here's the $1,000,000 question. Have you liked your steaks cooked?
rare.
Wow. Well, I think this live is done now.
This is not a live. This is actual fucking a podcast, madam. How do you
Okay,
like your
whatever.
steaks?
Medium rare.
Okay, so I like a medium rare too. Like that's when, but I like them rare. Like if
I
I'm
don't like them like Michelin tires, okay?
no, listen, I rare to medium rare
Thank
is
you,
acceptable.
Amanda. See, Amanda and I get each
Listen,
other.
rare to medium rare is acceptable. Anything
Okay, thank
over
you.
medium rare, you're a psychopath.
But listen, rare, I can literally hear the calf being like, "Help."
Listen, I understand that, but they
Yes, so you
taste the
can have
best.
them mooing back at you.
Yes, you can. By the way, mooing back at you is black and blue. That's not
Okay, but okay, what do you want to just say? Like, quit
rare.
putting butter on me? Like,
Listen, there's a place, I forget where it is, that will actually tell you the name of the cow that the steak is coming from. And
I
I'm
would
like,
literally sit here and be like, "Here lies Betsy."
but
See?
the reason why is because so I had gastric sleeve surgery. So
Did you really?
yeah, I was 260 pounds, 360 pounds at one point. Yeah, let me see if I can find if I can. Oh,
Dang.
yeah, I was
Okay.
360 pounds at one point, and like I was done. I was done with it. I couldn't do it.
Was
And
it
so
because of like all the drinking and stuff like that
yeah, it
too?
was drinking it. But I'd been a big kid my entire life. Like that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I would get made fun of because I was a fat kid my entire life.
Same. I was too. Like what I weigh now, I weighed as a kid. Like I
Yeah,
was a big kid.
I was senior year. I was 275 pounds.
Oh,
You
I'm
know,
way heavier than I was in high school. I was like 135, but I was also a competitive swimmer, all like swimming 2 hours every day and then working out in the gym an hour after school. Like, so I was in great shape. Now, like I'm 150, like 150. I was like, yeah, we live in a good life somewhat.
I mean, wait, what'd she say?
He's
He's
freaking
freaking
out
out
because
'cause
the
the pregnant.
pregnancy weight. Oh, he hasn't gotten on the scale since week 8.
I didn't freak, madam. You're freaking out about the pregnancy weight. I haven't fucking said a damn thing to you. I keep telling you it's fine, and you keep telling me I'm the fucking house. I'm a cow. I'm like, shut the
But
fuck up. There's a baby in
here's
there.
the thing. Okay, you're going to gain like 30 to 40
Yeah,
pounds. Like it's going to happen.
yeah. There's a child in there. I would expect you to be eating more, and eating more, and that's fine
As
with
long
me.
as you're eating like decently, you're not
Yeah.
just eating like a bunch of garbage. Like who cares?
Well, that's the thing is, and she when she does work, because she doesn't work that much because of the baby, and it's a high risk pregnancy, so I don't want her being at work in a fucking 120-degree sauna. Because one of the first times, uh,
It's like
after, yes, we do, okay, we do.
I think
Um,
it's like a little bit of like, well, I don't want you to go through this alone.
so I had fucking gastric sleeve surgery, and so I can't eat that much.
Right.
So when I eat it, um so I have to eat it over time, and as you know, cook steak keeps cooking no matter
Yeah.
what. So after, day 2 or day 3, it's a medium rare by then, so it's still
He's literally justifying his rare right now. And
listen, I
I
am.
feel like no, I feel like this is
Listen, my
garbage.
grandfather, all right? It was my grandfather's fault. My grandfather used to just literally eat rare steak. It would literally be
Oh,
psst, psst,
it's
that's
okay.
it,
My
done.
uncle ate like raw meat at one point, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is disgusting.
But it's supposedly, if the meat is good, it's supposed to be good for you to eat raw. Like you're supposed
Listen,
to.
if I wanted worms in my intestines, I would just eat the worms like gummy worms, okay?
You're
I
not gonna
spit all
get.
my boys.
That's the problem with food nowadays. We're not raising regular food. We've got
No, we're
fucking
not. It's all
GMOs.
preservatives.
Oh God,
Listen,
it's so.
this is
I,
why like teenagers look like they're like 30-year-olds right now.
I want to just. I want to be successful in this so I could do this as my full time job, and I want to get a farm and raise my own. And I understand it smells like hot garbage.
Dude, listen, eggs, like fresh eggs, are amazing.
No salt on them, nothing.
Oh my
Fresh
gosh,
eggs.
they're
You don't need a
so
fucking
good.
thing. They're
And
just amazing.
goat's milk is so good. What?
You lost me.
It's
I,
you
I'm gonna have
can't
to
knock it till you try it. It's good, and
listen.
it's really good for baking too.
I've got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Sign
uh, I'll have to try it. Like I
Kind of
don't.
like people are that whole almond milk thing. I'm like, show me the tit on an almond, please do. My ex, I, f- I feel like that's why he's an ex because he was guilty of something.
You can make so much with it too. Can you really?
Yeah, you can. You can
Listen,
actually make like lotions. You can make like body wash. Like you can make a lot of cool stuff with it.
I was a fan of goat's milk for a while because I don't- when you get surgery like that, it changes your body. So like I
Yeah.
used to be lactose intolerant, like I could not do it at all. And then, and after the surgery, it changed it, and now I can have
Typically,
dairy.
humans are actually meant to be lactose intolerant because we're not meant to have that in our body. But you know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Because there's a lot of people who are like, you're not supposed to drink other animals' milk.
you're not supposed to
Ugh.
drink alcohol, but here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
He's just like,
Exactly.
"Ah,
It is what it is.
yes."
But yeah, I don't know, man. And it's funny because Amanda's not like my wife, but I am
Mhm.
too old to call her my girlfriend. Like I'm just at that age where it's just like it just sounds fucking weird. Like
She's my old lady.
and that's what I say a lot of times, my old lady. Like, but
Yeah.
it's just weird to just like, yeah, I'm 41 years old. I have a girlfriend.
Listen, I have a coworker who's just now getting married, like super happy for him. But I literally looked at him and I was just like, I never thought that someone like 30 years older than me would be getting married before I am.
I said it. I was engaged twice, married once, one child, and I was like, I'm never getting divorced. I was like, I don't understand how people have 4 or 5 wives. I don't fucking get it. That's so stupid.
Listen, I can't even get a date.
And here I am working on marriage, possibly number 3, eventually in the later future. But if it ever happens, we already said, listen, we
Better
don't. We
not.
well, listen, if we're in the place where like we don't want the fucking law to get involved. We don't like care.
Yeah.
It's not a big fucking deal. Like
You're
we're
basically married without the
yeah, the
certificate
baby, the
because
baby is
like by chance something happens, you don't want to have to go through all the divorce like step. And let me tell you, like divorces are expensive.
oh my
There's a
god.
reason why a lot of people are not actually getting married.
Well, because it's easy to get married. Like Kansas
Oh,
literally
look at that. Look at that. Right there. That's quality.
yes, please. I
Oh, so
appreciate.
you can we
Oh
can
no,
hear the
you know why she
moose.
says that, right? No,
We can hear
no,
the moose.
no. You'll know why. I'll tell you why she said that. The other day, I asked her to make me a whatchamacallit, a peanut butter and fluff tortilla, right? I love peanut butter and fluff on a tortilla shell, right?
Mm.
And I throw bananas in there, and I throw
Mhm.
whatchamacallit, cinnamon toast crunch spread. Yeah,
Okay.
see, she's
Fair.
laughing. She's laughing because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So the other day, I'm doing a podcast. We're doing off label, and all of a sudden, I just look over and there's a fucking sandwich right here in my face, and I went ah, and Rich goes, "What the fuck was that?" She scared the fuck out of both of us. She's scared because I'm not paying
So now
attention.
she's announcing
So
to
now
you, like,
she's
would
letting
you
me know
like
she's
me
gonna
to bring it to you?
scared this. Like she almost pissed herself. She's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm gonna piss myself.
Oh
That's
my
how
gosh, that is
hard she
funny.
That's how hard she was laughing because I don't like I'm focused on here. I'm trying to, because all this like when you see me like not paying attention, I'm trying to make sure the chat and this and that and there's
Yeah.
so many things going on. So like not paying attention and all of a sudden like this hand just comes out and I don't hear because these headphones
Yeah.
are just I can't
I
hear
know, I
shit.
have, like, the noise
Yeah.
canceling, like, set on mine.
So I don't hear shit. So the door opens. I'm just paying attention to here, and I just see this, and I'm just like, oh my. So that's
You're
why
like,
she's like, Yeah, she's like, "Do you want me to bring your plate to you?" So I can be aware that she's coming in
Well,
the
she's
room.
gonna bring it into screen and be like, "Here you go."
Yeah, she's gonna put it in my face. I'll probably, to be honest with you, I'm so focused on this conversation, I'm probably gonna not notice when she walks in the room and fucking shit myself. But
I was gonna just smack it out of her hand, be like, "Ah!"
I think, and my
Is there
ex,
such thing as like when cows fly? Because like,
yes, there is, yes, there is. But my ex father-in-law said this to me, and I didn't believe it was true. Like he said that people who can actually apologize and mean it and know their own faults are fewer than you think.
absolutely,
It's like an alcoholic. An alcoholic, the first thing you do is admit you have a problem. And a lot of people
yes.
can't admit that they have the problem. And
Or they're
that's
just saying it, just say it.
yeah,
And that's a huge issue is because a lot of people will say it just to be like, I don't want to have this conversation anymore. But the problem is it's going to keep coming up and coming up. It's a carousel that never stops spinning, a never ending cycle. Like I have a friend who actually I have a couple of friends that I've gone through it myself. And like when we were talking about the trauma bonding, uh, I think that some people lean on each other because they feel like they're the only person that understands them. Well, I'm glad that that person got you out of such a horrible space, but that doesn't mean that they're meant for you to stay with, you know? Oh, there she is.
thank you, baby.
Thank you.
She's cat says thank you. Hey,
Anyways, so I
sorry.
think that there's a couple of things that like people need to understand is that you can break a cycle.
Look at that. It's not rare. It's medium rare. It's not even.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that.
I know that's beautifully done. That is well done, Amanda.
Yeah, that's well done. All right. Oh,
Listen here. See, you dropped it. See, that's
I dropped
karma
my
at work.
I dropped my fork.
I thought you were gonna say I dropped my meat. I'm like, well,
Well,
um, but no, like, I've had a couple of people like they're like, well, I love this person, like they understand what I'm going through, and I'm like, but you're obviously unhappy. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean you're meant to stay in a relationship, especially first time on the new girl.
yeah,
Oof,
we we
zest.
we bought a new grill. Real quick story. So we were talking about this before going on vacation. I'm like, we're going on
Hmm.
vacation. Like, we're gonna spend a
Yes.
shit ton of money. Like, if we have money left over, we'll get it. So we come
Hmm.
back. We go to Lowe's today, looking for a grill. Grills are fucking expensive.
Yes, they are.
And
Everything's expensive.
uh,
Yeah.
anyway, um, we go and there's this grill in the back corner, like at the clearance, like this little tiny clearance section where there's like 12
Yeah, that
things.
they're hoping that you don't see because they
Eh,
don't want you to
Yeah.
buy it.
So, and this grill there, and I'm talking to the guy, I'm like, is there anything wrong with it? He's like, because usually when they have the little thing on it, it tells you what's wrong with it, missing parts. So
Right.
there's a couple screws missing, like a woman, but it wasn't really bad. What? Anyway, but it wasn't like,
I'm not even gonna deny it though.
but
Like,
it wasn't like, it
she said,
wasn't
"So
bad.
sue me."
So we went and it was like fucking like 60% off, and it was already like built. It was
Yeah,
already
it's like
built,
already
and I was like,
together.
"Fuck yeah!" So we went and bought it, and I was like, "See, good thing we waited, because we wouldn't have found this whole thing, you
Right.
know." So you have friends that aren't healed yet.
Yeah, basically. And they keep going in this never ending carousel. And I never understood like why people want to stay in their relationships. Like I get it. Again, it's that falling in love with the hope that they're going to be different. But if that person's not changing, they're not going to be different.
Yeah.
And you're hanging on to how it all started, not to what's going to happen. And it's sad because there's a lot of really good men and women out there who are holding themselves back in the wrong relationship.
Well, yeah, that's what my parents were that. My parents, after we were old, like I think my parents divorced when I was like 20, probably almost 30. My parents got divorced, and I was like, "Why did you wait so long? Like everybody
Right.
knew you guys weren't compatible. Like And they're just like, well, we did it for you guys. It's like, well, you fucked us up even more. Like, what do you mean you did it for us?
That's what I was about to touch on, is just, like, staying together because of kids. I know I don't have kids my own and things like that, but I just don't understand it. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You're like, "Well, I don't want them to be in 2 households." I would much rather my kiddos be in 2 households and their parents be happy separated
Yeah.
and be cordial to get like, cordial when they needed to get together than be in an extremely unhappy household.
And that's a huge thing. That's another thing that that people need to um realize. Co-parenting is
Yes.
a fucking huge thing. It is
Yes.
a
And
huge
there are a
thing.
lot of horrible co-parenting,
But
like, situations.
you had a baby with this person.
Mhm.
You have a responsibility.
Yeah.
And this is what I was trying to tell my daughter's mother for years. I'm like, listen, we have to co-parent. She's like, and she didn't like me because I was a
Naturally.
dick, and I got it.
Yeah.
But I was like, listen, we have to co-parent because if we don't co-parent, then it's going to be worse later on in life. And it did.
Yes.
It got to the point where our daughter was pitting each other against each other because we didn't have no communication. We didn't talk.
Yeah.
We didn't talk. So my daughter would be like, "Hey, dad at dad's house. Oh, it was so bad. I did this, and dad yelled at me." And I get a phone call from her mother. Did you yell at her? Yeah, I yelled at her. She didn't do what she was supposed to do. What do you want me to? "Yeah, well, you can't yell at her. She's sensitive." I go, I don't give a fuck. Don't call me and tell
Yeah.
me how to deal with my daughter. If you don't want to co-parent, you don't want to have a conversation about how we should do this correctly.
Then this is how
And
this is
then
gonna
this is
go.
how I'm going to do it. And if you don't
Yeah.
like it, then we'll have a
Then
conversation.
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did not want to, you know. And Jordan said it's hard being in two households, but it's better than the toxicity of them staying. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
It is. I
yeah,
think, and that's where communication is even more key, you know. And unfortunately, I do have people who were in relationships with horrible partners, and they want to continue their misbehaved ways after they end, and it makes it hard, and it sucks to see that. But it's like you can't expect things to go as smoothly as possible if you're not on the same page.
yeah.
Like you, and that's using kids as pawns to get
Uh,
back at your ex. That drives me up
yeah,
a wall. I can't stand that. Your kids are not pawns. They are your children.
yeah,
Like you do not have to like your ex. You can hate them, you can despise, you can whatever. Be cordial for the kids. It
yeah,
is not about you. When that child was developing in the womb, it stopped being about you.
yeah, yeah. It did, and to see the parents go after each other, it teaches the kid. It really
Mhm.
and it leads the kid into a shitty relationship themselves. They learn from you. They
Yes.
learn from what you did and what you
Yep.
do.
And
So if
kids are sponges.
yeah, so if you guys have a fucked up relationship,
Mhm.
what do you think your kids are gonna do when they get older? They're gonna
Extremely
learn
messed up.
they're gonna learn from that toxicity,
Yep.
and they're gonna be like, "No, I never wanna be in that," and then the next thing you know, your kid's
That's
in a
exactly what they're gonna
relationship
be in,
with
because that's
with
what they know.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
comfortable.
Yeah.
It's comfortable for them because it feels like a home kind of,
Yeah.
and it sucks.
Yeah.
My eldest
Absolutely.
dad and I took over 5 years to get the good co-parenting level and where we're at now, and I'm so thankful that for that, it makes everything so it does.
Well, yeah, it does make it easier. And I'm really glad that y'all have gotten to that point. I'm sure that it took a lot of hard conversation to happen. I'm glad that you guys had those conversations. People aren't having them,
Yep.
you know, and or they're trying to, and the other partner is not receptive, and it's difficult because I even like in our clinic we have kiddos that come in, and there's been kiddos with broken households and things like that, and those parents just hate each other. I mean, hate each other, and you can tell. And it makes that kid miserable. And imagine having a special needs kid in a household of hate.
Yeah. Well,
Like, that is hard.
this has been great. This has been a fun time.